Hey guys, it's LEGO Boys E3. Today I'm going to show you how I made my 6x6 barrel mod. So as with most mods, I started out by tightening each of the layers and then getting out the saw. So basically I turned these middle two layers like this, 45 degrees, and then if you just cut down all the parts where the layers are sticking out, then you'll eventually get down to a barrel shape. And so with the aid of some tape, which you can see here, that's basically what I did. I cut down all the sides until I had basically an octagonal barrel like this. And since a lot of the caps had fallen out as I was doing this, I then got some super glue and glued all those in while the puzzle was still assembled. I then got out the belt sander and started the process of turning it into a more refined but still rough barrel shape. So I turned all the layers randomly like this and just set it on the belt sander and held it in between my fingers and just let it roll until a lot of the plastic had been sanded off. I then disassembled the puzzle, scraped out the remaining of my epoxy sculpt out of the container, and then began to mix it up. By the way, this wasn't all for the same mod, this was for like 2 or 3 mods, so don't mix up this much if you're going to be making one. So you can see on this specific centerpiece here, at the level of sanding that I had done on it, you can see these 2 little openings, but there are actually 3 openings, and you need to fill all of them. So basically I used a knife and cut open until it looked like this, and you could see all 3 openings. Also, you can see on this other type of centerpiece that there's a little opening that you're going to have to fill, and so to make it a little bit easier, I just cut out the plastic so that I could fill it from the top. Now after filling all the pieces, both the types I just showed you, plus any other ones that have holes in them, you then have to go in and sand down the sides of the pieces that you filled. So basically if there's any filler still sticking out on the side of pieces like on this one here, you have to sand that down so that the puzzle can still turn to make it look like this. I then reassembled the puzzle, then brought it back over to the belt sander and continued to do the same thing that I had done earlier. Now to get the final barrel shape, you have to make sure that all the pieces are even, so every once in a while you have to line up the puzzle and then just turn it a few times randomly like this until you get it to a new state, and then you can bring it back to the belt sander and continue sanding it, and then after repeating that whole thing a few times, it should be pretty perfect. I then did kind of a final sanding all around the entire puzzle with a higher grit sandpaper so that it would be a little bit more smooth, as well as around the edges so that you have kind of a curved surface on there. At this point, I should have removed the remaining stickers, but instead I just went ahead and disassembled the puzzle for the final sanding of each of the individual pieces. I then started the painstaking and hours-long process of sanding down each of the pieces individually, so basically you'll sand down the tops of the pieces with a very high grit sandpaper, as well as all the edges and corners of the piece until you get a fully rounded piece just like this. At this point, I reassembled the puzzle one last time and then sprayed some black spray paint on it. So now onto the stickering process. So of course the 2 flat sides each have 16 stickers in the middle that are just normal 6x6 stickers, so I just put those all on first. And then for the outside stickers, it works pretty similarly. Basically you put on a normal size sticker like this, and then the easiest thing to do is using a knife while the sticker is still on the puzzle, very lightly cut around the sticker so that you're cutting just barely through the sticker and not too much into the puzzle. And then you can take off that little excess bit of sticker and cut off the corner to round it. And as long as you cut accurately, you now have a perfect custom cut sticker for that puzzle. Now for the other 4 sides, it works pretty similarly. For these middle kind of pieces, you just use normal 6x6 stickers. And then again, for some of the stickers that look almost like a square but have little curves on the edge, you just stick the sticker on and then cut off the sides of it with a knife, making sure to round the edge, and then you have a perfectly cut sticker. Now this shouldn't be used with every single sticker like those little skinny ones. It's a lot better for those ones to just measure, cut, and then apply. But for the most part, this method works pretty well. So now after finishing the stickers, the 6x6 barrel mod is basically complete. Also for the time being, it pretty much completes my barrel collection. So I have an off-axis 3x3, pyramid square 1 cube, and 2x2 through 7x7. This is definitely one of my favorite end-by-end barrel puzzles because it's a lot more of a challenge than a 4x4 or a 5x5, but not nearly as much as a 7x7, which is just crazy to solve. It's also much higher quality in terms of how I built it and the stickers and such than all the rest of my end-by-end barrels. The one kind of weird thing about it is that piece in the middle that you've probably noticed that doesn't have a sticker on part of it. Basically there used to be a piece covering that, but then as I sanded it down, it just kind of turned into that little tiny skinny piece that you see next to it. So I could have maybe saved that by stopping sanding the puzzle a little bit sooner, but then it might not be a full barrel shape, in which case you'd probably have to extend the puzzle, and that would just get way too complicated. And that surface isn't entirely flush with the part of the piece that has the sticker on it, which is why I didn't just make the sticker longer. I could put another sticker on there, but then it would be rubbing directly up against the mechanism. So for now, it just kind of has a little black empty space. So that's pretty much it for this mod. That's all I really have to say about it. It's a really cool mod, I really like it, and that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!